comes the bride. 10,000 times down under American servicemen have married Australian girls, and they formed a club for mutual help as they await transportation to their new homeland. Our soldiers came, these gals saw, and love conquered. Many have already come to the United States, but those waiting to sail make a bi-weekly visit to the American War Cemetery in Sydney to pay tribute to our soldier dead. They represent American wives, mothers, and sweethearts who have lost loved ones in this area. Those unknown are not forgotten by a grateful ally.
Australia gets a cargo of lightning from America. For that's what the Air Force calls these powerful new fighter planes, Lightnings. P-38s, reported to be the fastest high-altitude fighters in the world. Towed to hangars for final assembly and a checkup before going into service. Motors are tuned and tested by expert American mechanics, trained at the factories. Details of their powerful armament is a military secret. Roaring down metal runways in the jungle country, they're off to battle the Japs over the South Pacific. Lightning to strike the enemy. In Sydney Harbor, Australians inspect a Japanese submarine that ventured too far from home. Its mechanism almost intact, the midget undersea craft never had a chance to discharge its torpedoes. Here are the tubes. Removing the firing mechanism. Dangerous business. It might explode. The torpedo's gyroscope, an ingenious device that directs the course of the torpedo after it leaves the submarine. This is one marauder that did no damage. Australians blasted it with depth bombs. Now putting to sea with U.S. attack forces bound for Japanese-held islands in the South Pacific. An Australian cruiser is part of the escort. More troops for the American Expeditionary Force in Australia. Armed convoys winning the game of hide-and-seek with enemy fleets to deliver the men and material to the land down under. Girls of the Army Nurses Corps, American women going to war fronts around the globe with the men. Here is a Japanese flyer rescued from the Pacific by an American sergeant whose own plane made a forced landing on the sea. The Jap was floating nearby in the wreckage of his Zero fighter. The sergeant took him in tow, and both were picked up by a passing transport. Once ashore, the Army nurses make themselves right at home in this strange new world. At an advanced base, they take over a completely equipped hospital and dressing station. Overnight, medical and surgical facilities are established to care for the physical needs of the troops. The girls, all rated as officers and trained to rigorous Army standards, work long hours. But it's not all grim. At the local zoo, they meet Australia's famous koala bears, seldom seen outside the continent. And Mr. Kangaroo jumps at the chance to meet some pretty American girls. Always on the alert, U.S. anti-aircraft units report on the double quick to gun emplacements well camouflaged from enemy scouting planes. This coastal area has been hammered for months, suspected prelude to invasion. But the American marksmen are ready and waiting. From nearby airdromes, United Nations pilots take to the sky in fast fighting pursuit ships. Scouring the area, these are the men who are defending the aerial approaches to Australia. And here's real action. Jap plane spotted. In a matter of seconds, the anti-aircraft crews are letting them have it.
Private Buddy Barker, the first Aussie to join the American Army. Ceremoniously, he is elevated to the rank of Sergeant First Class as a reward for his offensive action against the camp's mice. And here are a couple of dashing witnesses, Buddy. You leave fast. You don't eat a leave fast, Buddy. You extend it, if you can. Well, he says, I've got a date at the GPO. Better catch the last post. What a town, what a town. Or is hell. Buddy, what are you doing there?